Hey guys, continuing our videos, chapter 6, Iamblichus' Exhortation to Philosophy. This chapter again is about civic and practical life. Here, in this point, Iamblichus says the benefits of studying philosophy are much greater than the costs of studying philosophy. So this sign I made means greater. And why? Because the benefits of studying philosophy apply not just to philosophy, they apply to all other sciences. When we study philosophy, we're finding out how to use something for its good and what exactly is good. So by studying philosophy, we're building knowledge that can then be used with any other science and used for the benefit of that science. So whatever the other science is that you study, if you are well versed in philosophy, not just theoretical but practical philosophy as well, if you live a philosophical life, then any other science that you study will be made much more productive, more useful, and more wise. Hence, the benefits of philosophy kind of flow into everything else in life, everything that you do. Hence, the benefits are much greater than the costs. And he says, but even the costs of philosophy are small compared to the costs of studying other sciences. Why is this so? And he logically proves it. He proves it by saying, because in philosophy we study the primary things, the principles, the causes, and there are fewer causes than the effects of those causes. He says primary things are easier than secondary. And this is understandable. There is a thing called wind, for example, and that's a cause. And the thing that it causes on the physical level is countless. Storms, destructions, what's it called? Repopulation of seeds and fields and so forth. So, but it's only just one thing, wind. But the results of it are huge. So with philosophy, we study higher and higher causes, that from which all the results and all the multiplicity and all the divisiveness and all the variety later evolves. So it's much easier to study fewer things than the whole variety. And he says, the higher we go, the more good something is. And the goods are much more predictable and easier to understand than evils. So by that I understand the higher we go, the easier it is to understand something than on the lower level. And he gives an example of a depraved man. He says a good man, his behavior will be stable. And we know what to expect of him and how he will behave himself. But a depraved man, an evil man, we don't have a clue what he will do any moment. His behavior is chaotic. And this is a good example why it's much easier to study a good man than, for example, an evil man. Because there's evil, essentially, as I understand it, is chaos. There is no predictability. There's less and less predictability the more evil something is in that kind of mind frame. This is how I understand it. So again, he urges us that for the benefit of civic and practical life, study philosophy, because it will make everything else you do in this life, whichever science you study, whatever you do, if you're a politician, an economist, a doctor, a physician, whoever, gymnast, anyone, bodybuilder, it will make your other science much more powerful and useful to you and to everyone, essentially. Because you'll be doing it from a much wiser standpoint. You'll be using it in a very wise way. That's how I understood this part of the chapter. So that's it. The next video we're going to talk about the next key element of his chapter as I understood it. Thanks, bye-bye.